Imagine something really quick. Your college professor gives you a partner assignment where you actually have to socialize with your partner. But the assignment topic is having a good time in young adult relationships. And your partner also has a fear of men. But your professor kept on insisting on this assignment, bringing up some honestly valid arguments. So, to just get it over with, you go with them to the library to do some research, where he just doesn't know how to talk to her. And when she needs your attention, you decide the best course of action is to text her, which she just asks for you to get a book because the librarian that day was male. You hand her the book and try to get out of her view to not trigger her phobia, but she thanks you, saying she feels less scared around you, her way of overcoming her phobia. And because of that, you guys made a lot of progress on your assignment and set up a survey in your school, but she passes out trying to ask two guys questions for it. You decide to be the good guy in this scenario and say that you'll do it alone, but she says it'll be a good opportunity for her to overcome her phobia and has something she wants to try. So they end up in a love hotel, and in order for her to get over her fear, she wants him to be her first man to end off this first part. That's right, this is a multi-work series. The second part starts with the two handing out questionnaires and seeing that Hanamori is slightly getting over her fear, but that's when someone calls out to her classmates. Hanamori says that it's thanks to Kanzaki that she's able to get over her fear, but the classmates hug her, saying that just because their relationship improved, she won't be handed over so easily. And during this, Kanzaki is having some sort of PTSD situation, thinking about how this seems awfully familiar. That's when we see a flashback to apparently his childhood, when three girls are scolding him for confessing his feelings to one of them. He thinks that, and thinks that this is the same situation, and he almost got in over his head. He says he'll stop bothering them and goes to sort out materials in a classroom, and denies Hanamori coming with him and getting him in the way. She's left there stunned before cutting to a classroom and Kanzaki's sitting there on the computer, thinking about how he almost acted impulsively again. Thinking back, the only reason they had a good time was to help her get over her phobia, so they could finish the project, because he was a non-scary man to her and just spent one night together. Though Hanamori bursts through the doors, which is when she calls out to him. She asks him if something was wrong since he was acting a little strange. He says it's nothing and doesn't have anything to do with her. But even if he says that, and even if they should be focusing on the project, it could be that something that they said made him uncomfortable, because Kanzaki is the kind of person to never speak up for himself, and if they said something that hurt him, to accept her apology. This is when he would, of course, jump up and yell that she hasn't done anything wrong, which, of course, startles her. He sits down and apologizes for yelling loudly all of a sudden, and says that it's not really her fault, it's just that he's been in a similar situation before and was reminded of what happened. He says that it's entirely his problem and completely unrelated to her, and wanted to change subjects. But she gets all close to him and hugs him, saying that if just thinking about it can make him act like this, then it must be a really painful memory. She's thankful for that, turning that embarrassing project into a happy experience and helping her get over her phobia. It's all thanks to him, and now it's her turn to help him, saying that he can tell her anything that's bothering him. And in the end, he really does like Hanamori, maybe a little too much, because now he's remembering the good time they had and hides his extra blood flow. She then realizes what's happening and apologizes, but it's not really her fault for him reacting like that. He's now having a crisis about it, but she asks if he would like her to help with it. And so yeah, they do it at school. They took so long doing it that there's a class that's supposed to be their next period, and they rush out, thinking they did something terrible in the spur of the moment. He asks about something she said during it, but she says that he'll tell him next time. This part ends with him thinking that he knows he likes her, but doesn't know how she feels about him. And this takes us to the final part 3 of this trilogy of sauces. The sauce starts out with people at a drinking party, seeming to be everyone in that professor's class from before. The two are there, of course, and he's sitting pretty far from Hanamori. Then some guys come up and ask if they can sit by him. They're his two friends who came to join him in drinking alone in the corner. They ask why doesn't he join Hanamori, and asks if he's already done it with her, which explains why he spits out his drink. His only response to that is that they aren't dating yet, which is apparently too much based on how they reacted. They press for more info, but he backs off, saying that he'll go greet Hanamori and go home. But when he looks over, he sees that a certain someone has been trying to pick up girls since he got there, and is now trying to pick up Hanamori, who doesn't know what to do in that kind of situation. He sees this and stands up to go stand behind this guy with that Mob Psycho 100 look. The guy tries to brush him off, but he calls for Hanamori, asking if her house is a bit far from there and that they should go since he's about to leave. She stands up and goes with him without blinking an eye, as the others are saying to that guy from before that he didn't really stand a chance. Going to the main two outside, Kanzaki starts apologizing for the weird rumors that might be brought up because of this. Sorry for misspeaking earlier, but apologizing isn't really the right word here. It's more frantically apologizing. He says that even if she's used to talking to guys now, he still feels like she's gonna get scared and push herself, which he can't overlook. She then walks over to him and grabs him, asking how he knew. She's actually still scared of men, but it's better than before because of him. She's still nervous when there's a lot around, and the guy from before was scary. And while she was there, she couldn't help but feel she made the wrong choice. But he was as reliable as always, because whenever she's hurt or scared, he always appears to help her. And being paired with him made her really lucky, and she thanks him. The two share a hug on the sidewalk before she asks if his house is nearby, because she wants Kanzaki to take her home, quote unquote, which he grabs her hand and they go, literally zooming to his apartment. They get in and just immediately start doing it, confessing to each other in the middle of it. They finish up and it cuts to them in class, giving and finishing up their presentation. The professor gives them an applause and commends them for their work, especially Hanamori, who seems like a completely different person from the start of the assignment. It's not really due to encouragement though, but really thanks to Kanzaki. After that, the project came to a close and the class disbanded, but the two of them were now inseparable. Overall, I rate these sauces as a collective 12 out of 10. This entire trilogy is just amazing. Such a wholesome read, and amazing one at that. The artist Hirio did an amazing job with the artwork and story in general. The sauces individually were pretty great as well, but when brought together really shine. I recommend you check them all out for yourselves as always. That's all I got. I'll see you in the next one.
Attack on Titan, Tokyo Ghoul. These hentai babes make me drool. MachinaMaker is great. She makes me masturbate. Fairy tale.